Hi everyone, welcome to Talking Taste with Ty. I'm Ty. Today we're talking about the latest episode of Real Housewives of Potomac. Robyn, oh honey, I thought we had made such great headway. First part of this episode, I give you a D+. You were crushing my heart this first part of the episode after having such a great episode last week. The last half of the episode, there's a little bit of redemption. Candiace just gave me everything I needed in this episode, from her clapbacks to her confessional looks, just the drama in her personal life, and then just going against Gizelle just gave me everything I needed. Karen continues to be kind of that middle ground voice of reason. Mia continues to lie, and we see a little bit more of Wendy. So let's talk about it. The scene picks up where we left off last week, and that is with Candiace still at the studio where they had just finished the dance class, and she's talking to the executive producer, Eric. First of all, Eric, how dare you? How dare you just sit there and play in Candiace's face and basically tell her, oh, well, you ladies talk about one another all the time. And I quote, Candiace, I've said things that are true, and don't cut out any of my fourth wall. None of it. I want it all in there. So she's telling him, like, how dare you? I know you know about this. I know you guys helped set this up. Why don't you give Michael Darby the same energy? If he walked in here right now, you guys would give him tea and crumpets and forget about all of the grabation and all of the drama surrounding Michael Darby. You want to treat him like a choir boy. Meanwhile, they want to railroad Chris, who has been nothing but absolutely nice to all the women in the group. I mean, really, when Candiace was laying into everyone and going off on everyone, he was always the voice of reason. Big forehead Ashley, he was always so nice to Ashley. I do not know why. Again, I really think Ashley's a part of this too. Maybe it's the smirk. I don't trust her, but Candiace grabs her things and she's out of there. We go to her confessional, which in this confessional, she is serving looks. That green pops beautifully on her skin, the brownish red tones in her hair. It is all absolutely gorgeous. The pearl drop earrings. I mean, she's given Zendaya in the Emmys when Zendaya channeled Jessica Rabbit, and then she's just with the hair swept to the side and the volume and the curls and the big earrings. It's just all beautiful. But it was in that confessional that she drops my favorite lines of the episode when talking about Gizelle. Like, listen, she's tired. She understands where she stands with Gizelle right now. She's not going to let these women take her out of her character. She has too much to lose. She has too much going on in her life right now. And she says, not today, Satan. Not today, neck. Not today, ankles. And I hollered. I love Candiace and I love her reads. You guys hear the dogs in the background. Those are my dogs. If you hear pitter patter of little feet, they're running around. But, Candiace then grabs her bags and she's gone. She comes back in Gizelle goes back to the rest of the women in the front area, lobby area, where they've set up shop at this dance studio to have snacks and gossip. All the ladies like, where's Candiace? And Giselle's like, oh, well, maybe I don't think she was feeling well, so she left. Gizelle, now, really? Okay, fine. So we get to Wendy. Wendy is telling the group about meeting with Peter Thomas and how she's considering, opening the lounge with him, and how she's only going to be 20% owner, so it shouldn't be too much work. Girl, just run from this deal. It actually sounds like a horrible deal. She says that, her husband, Eddie, does not know about this yet, and he really doesn't want her to put anything else on her plate that she cannot balance. Wendy is a commentator on a lot of news channels. She's a professor. She has this candle and home good line that she's trying to launch. Wendy, slow down. And we're going to see more in the episode of how important it is for her to really focus on herself and her health, and that's really what she's neglecting right now. So she's telling Ashley about it, and that's kind of really all that kind of goes on there. Mia and Gizelle go off to a separate room to talk, and the most amazing thing happens. Giselle apologizes to Wendy, like legit says she's sorry. And you know why? She's like, you know what? Just 10 minutes ago, I stirred up all the drama that I need for the season. I don't need this second storyline. So I'm sorry, Mia, my bad. Like, we can cut this out now. No need to drag this on and give you a storyline. And this is Mia. Mia says to Giselle, first of all, Mia, you're new, but you're not that new. And I know you've gone back and watched previous seasons. So when you said to Giselle, I expected this hate and these comments from New Booty Wendy, but not from you. New Booty Wendy? New Booty. Your whole body's new, Mia. I mean, you're pretty, but it's plastic. You're pretty plastic. So, nope, not falling for that. So then while this is going on, something really bizarre happens. And it felt like it came out of nowhere. But if you watch the previous season, then you know it did not come out of just nowhere. And this is Robyn and Wendy going at it. And Robyn's brings up Wendy at the spring fling, kind of coming up to them in the argument and asking, well, which one of them, referring to Robyn and Giselle, called you a liar? And Robyn did not like that. They go back and forth about Robyn's intentions, and Robyn calling me a liar and Wendy calling her out on it. And Wendy tells her, I just want you to stand in your truth, stand 10 toes down in your truth. And Robyn stands up and walks towards me. It was like, I'm standing in my truth. Robyn tells her, sit down. I mean, she scolded her like you would, one of your children misbehaving. And Robyn said, okay. She told me to sit down, so I'm sitting down because, Wendy is ruler of the world, but you sat down. And I'm with Charisse on this. Charisse came in and she was really the voice of reason. Charisse was like, man, y'all really y'all really need to go to therapy and work out whatever it is that's going on with you guys. And if you watched last season, you know that Robyn calls herself jumping in to defend Giselle during the Giselle Wendy Eddie debacle, when Giselle was trying to insinuate that Eddie was cheating on Wendy, which is why Wendy had her plastic surgery. And Robyn made the mistake of getting in the line of fire, and Wendy burned her by going after that relationship with Juan. And I think Robyn's still salty about that. But you know what? Maybe you should not have been sticking up for Giselle, and maybe you would have come out of that unscathed. But instead, Wendy had to lay you out. So, all right. Finally, Ashley asked about Candiace storming out. Of course, Giselle, as I said before, tells the lie that maybe her stomach was hurting or something. And then all the ladies leave. But while the ladies are leaving, one of the producers comes up to Wendy. And this is after Wendy is telling all the women to not go after Mia, to give her the benefit of the doubt. Wendy calls me a liar on a hot mic. I mean, you can have your personal thoughts about someone, but you don't necessarily need to say it to their faces. And I think that's where Mia was. Like, I can feel some kind of way about you, but I don't have to spit it in your face and spit that venom and spit that energy towards you and turn it into a whole issue. And I think that's what Wendy was at. Wendy was like, of course she's probably lying. But I'm not going to call her out in public about a possible health crisis. It's just in poor taste to do that. So that scene's over. We get over to Candiace. Candiace has a really emotional scene, guys. Listen, first of all, Candiace is sporting, I think, one of Robyn's bedazzled dope hats. It's interesting to see where Robyn's going to align her friendship when it comes between Giselle and Candiace in this feud. Because right now she's trying to ride the fence. But by the end of the episode, it feels like she's leaning more towards Candiace and Chris's side. So I can't wait to see where they will be by the end of the season. But she's sporting the hat, and she's having to give herself, I guess, injections for her IVF therapy that she's doing to freeze her eggs. The nurse is on FaceTime with her, talking her through it. Chris is at work, so she's having to give herself a shot. in her belly. First of all, my gosh, like I would sell a kidney to have Candiace's tiny little body. She's so tiny. I was that tiny when I was like 21. I haven't seen that body in like 20 plus years, but she's so tiny. I hope she stays that way after she has kids, but you know, I doubt it. We all have our pre-kid body. But she's going to give herself a shot in the stomach, and she's grimacing and she's kind of crying and pouting. And honey, I feel you. I do not like needles. So I would have been the exact same way. Then let's see, during the confessional, again, still sporting that beautiful confessional look, she admits that she got too comfortable with Gizelle. And I think everyone's been saying that. I think everyone's been saying that back from season 5, you know, the season that no one likes to bring up, that's caused so much division. But so much of that was caused by Ashley and Gizelle. I mean, Ashley was the bone carrier, pregnant and all, carrying drama, and Gizelle was just carrying out the act. And I think that Candiace has had a chance to maybe read comments from fans, comments from vloggers, to really go back and watch those episodes, and now to see what Gizelle is doing right now. They said, oh, Gizelle has now set her sights on you. You are her target this season. And the quickest way to tick you off or go after you is through your husband, because they tried to do it through your mama, and that didn't work. Because you and your mom are thick as thieves. And so guess what? Now they're going to go after your marriage. And Candiace knows that. And she was like, I got too comfortable. Yeah, you got too comfortable. And I hope you've learned a lesson. Gizelle is not your friend. Still on the fence about Robyn. I mean, again, like she said, she has too much going on off this show to allow Gizelle to get her out of character. And just too much going on in her personal life. Too many really great things, starting her family. So, yeah, I'm glad she admitted that. Or recognized that, I should say. Again, she's matured a lot this season. We go over to Ray and Karen. Aw, they have such cute moments. They're getting a manicure together, and Karen was just talking about how she had to miss out on the dance session with the ladies because of her 102-degree fever, and how she was not about to chance it because she did not want to risk getting her national treasure homesick, and she had to take the proper precautions and get the proper test to make sure she was negative for the you-know-what. They continued talking, and Ray was complimenting her on her looks, and she asked if he was jealous because of the attention that she gets because of the way that she looks. And, you know, there's a significant age difference. It's 14 or 17 years. I can't remember. But he goes, you know, you can have your eye candy. You know, it's very much look but don't touch. Enjoy that adoration and bring that on home to me. I hope she's not stepping out on their marriage. She's a very lovely woman. Ray is so huggable. He's just like everyone's favorite grandpa. Everything about him is so cute. He's wise. I love Ray. He might be, next to Candiace, maybe my favorite character on the show. And I don't think we get to see enough of him. He's a man who has worked his whole life, and he wants to go play tennis and enjoy his golden years. And I see nothing wrong with that. And I think he's adorable. We go over to Ashley, who's house hunting with her brother. Her brother's so tall. I wonder what his dad looks like. He's a very tall, handsome kid. And she's house hunting with her brother and Michael's realtor. So, again, this is Michael's world. Ashley's just living in it. And it's very apparent when she brings up to everyone that she and Michael are separating, and that she didn't want anyone to know because of the lending situation and her needing Michael's income to qualify. And Michael's realtor, who's been working with Michael for longer than Ashley's probably known him, was like, yeah, we know that. We've worked that all out with the lender. Everything's fine. So Ashley is out of the loop. Listen. Michael is worth about $20 million. Ashley got it out of the mud. I mean, her mom was homeless. Her mom struggled a lot. I don't know how she struggled throughout her childhood, but she did not have an affluent childhood like, say, Candiace, for instance, who was the daughter of doctors. She is street smart, but Michael is business smart. He's business savvy, and he's always going to run 10 circles around her before she even realizes they are running a race. And so this is why she needs counsel. This is why, if she is really getting a divorce, she needs an attorney, she needs counsel, she needs someone to advise her, because Ashley believes that she's smarter than she is. Just because she can come on TV and spread some rumors, start some gossip, and start fights with these women on TV does not mean that if she were really getting divorced that she could go toe-to-toe with this self-made millionaire. No, absolutely not. And she needs to realize that, again, if she's really getting divorced, because later she's crying to her husband, or not her husband, sorry, her brother, on her brother's shoulder about the stress of it all. And she says, you know, what if this is a mistake? And it was in that moment I realized that, oh gosh, is this Ashley's storyline for this season? We'll see. Although there are rumors of her flirting with a cast member of another Bravo show. I don't know. I don't know if they are actually over. We'll see. But again, she's going to need a really smart team behind her if she's going to go toe-to-toe with Michael. We then go over to Robyn. Robyn, we get to see Robyn's journey. I mean, she and Juan have been through a lot. I don't know the full story. I would love to know the full story. I know that Robyn bears most of the blame for losing Juan's millions, but she talks about the house that they were in before and then getting foreclosed on and having to move into the townhouse, and just really appreciating and revering and adoring the new home that she's in right now that she was able to purchase for her family. So I do know that means a lot. So while she and Juan are sitting at the table or in the kitchen area, she shows him a message from her mom. Her mom is basically like, hey, you guys are engaged. When are you getting married? Here's your former wedding photo. Hint, hint. Honestly, if they've already had the wedding, they probably still have the pictures. Why not just go to the courthouse if you really wanted to be married and just make it legal and just pretend these last however many years did not even exist? Why? What's the point of a new ceremony? I mean, just the two of you, go say your vows, recommit yourselves, and move it along. They're not really wanting to get married. But they're talking about, you know, their first marriage and how he's like, oh, do you still have that wedding dress? And she's like, no, I donated that. And they flash back to show her going, you know, pulling out the wedding dress in the box and her donating that wedding dress. But then the talk of prenup comes up. Now, their first marriage, they did have a prenup. Again, Robyn's from a fairly well-to-do family. Juan, you know, got it out the mud. Is that what they say nowadays? He had a rougher childhood. They did sign a prenup. But the problem is that by the time they divorced, they had lost everything. So that prenup was pointless. And now Robyn has made some money. And, you know, Juan told her, and I quote, do what you gotta do. I make more money than you anyway. And the producers were like, does Juan make more money than you? Oh, I don't have a drink. And then she just slowly sips her tea like, he said, what? And she didn't want to say that that's not true. I did try to look up Juan's net worth. It has it at $6 million. But there's some sites that has Robyn's net worth at $6 million as well. And I was also trying to find the terms of his current contract with the college where he coaches. Couldn't find a lot of information. I do know that they do not have a winning record. So I'm not sure if in his mind he's going to keep going up and maybe get to a D1 head coaching position. And again, I know that is the plan. I mean, there are only so many years that Robyn really can be on this Housewife franchise. I mean, I feel like every season her contract is hanging by a thread because she doesn't give us a lot of story. But Juan, if he can have a few good winning seasons, he really could find himself at a D1 school, a reputable school, and make millions. And so he may not have more money than Robyn has right now, but I do believe that in the sports world, if everything continues to go well for him, he does have more earning potential. So again, may not make more money than Robyn right now, but he might. And the fact he said that with such arrogance makes me believe that he may be in talks or has been in talks with other schools. So let's look for, Juan to end up at a D1 school and playing on or coaching a team playing on ESPN someday. I don't know. I hope that happens for him. I think he deserves it. I think whatever happened to him, I think during his basketball career, it said that he made approximately $12 million. That might be on the low end. But to think that, even after taxes and agents and attorneys and everything, they still had probably a good chunk of that 12 million that was, just lost through a scam. And I really, really hate that because, getting to the NBA is everything. I'm a mom of a son who's an athlete. So getting to play at a professional level is every little athlete's dream. So to just see his fortune squandered and everything he worked for squandered is heartbreaking. But he told her, get the prenup. So we'll see if they continue to discuss that throughout the season. We then get to Wendy. Wendy is meeting with her doctor. She has her wig off. We see Wendy's natural hair. Beautiful natural hair, but there's a problem. She's having hair loss. And her doctor tells her, ask her kind of what's been going on. This hair loss started after the birth of her last baby, and Cameron, I think the baby's name is Cameron, I may have said that wrong, her daughter. And the nurse was like, listen, have you been going through, a lot of stress lately? And they do a flashback of all the stress that she's gone through. Keep in mind that at the beginning of the episode, she and Robyn, after their argument, Robyn invites all of the ladies in front of Wendy to a family fun day because all the kids are on fall or spring break at the same time, and just leaves Wendy out of it completely. Wendy was like, what, am I not here? You don't play with kids like that. So I just think life has been very stressful for Wendy. A lot of it is self-inflicted stress because she can't stop. She can't say no. She talks about being raised by a single mother and always kind of wanting to hustle and do better and do more. I think that is a problem a lot of us have who've been raised by single mothers. We don't know how to stop, especially when we've partnered well. Wendy has partnered really well. She has this TV show. She has Housewives, she has other projects. There's really no need for her to hustle as hard as she does, but she can't stop herself. And we're going to see how that affects her health later on. Right now, it's just hair loss. It seems like later in the season, it might be something more serious. But the doctor did tell her she needs to slow down, and we all know that she will not. We get up to, go on to Robyn and Mia. They meet for lunch, and Mia, Robyn's just asking her, kind of apologizes to her like Giselle, but then was really honest. Like, hey, listen, you can't just go onto social media, insinuate you have cancer, then a week passes and then you never follow up with a response to that. We don't know what's going on. It's kind of like you gave us a cliffhanger. You kind of owe it to the fans to tell us what's going on. And Mia understood where she was coming from and said, hey, listen, I have an autoimmune disorder, and she thinks she has some lumps and she's going to have those removed. I think she said in August, probably after filming of the season, she was going to have the procedure to have that taken care of. I do not follow her on social media, so I don't really know the outcome for that. So they kind of get back to a good place. And Robyn opens her mouth and tells her about the drama that's going on between Giselle, Chris, and Candiace, and tells her about the whole hotel drama with Giselle and Chris and how Giselle felt very uncomfortable. And Mia opens her mouth and just blatantly lies like only Mia does. She really lies like Marlo. You know how Marlo will just say things for shock value? That feels like Mia. I feel like Mia is always in character, like, oh, I gotta give these people good TV or they're gonna snatch that champagne glass from me. I better say something, anything, even if it's absolutely ridiculous. I better make something up. In this moment, she does. She goes, oh, I have my own story about Chris. And Robyn's like, oh, here we go. I don't want to know this. I like Chris. I like Candiace. What? Oh, well, at the spring fling party, I just, out of my peripheral, I just felt him just staring me down, just eyeing me down. And Robyn's like, I don't want to know this. I don't want to know this. Thank you so much, producers, because they go to footage of Mia, Karen, all of them out there dancing, having fun. You cut to the back and you see Chris not even looking in her direction. Chris minded his own business. Mia doesn't seem like his type anyway. She's a big gal. He seems like he may be like some cute and petite. No. Thank you, producers, for doing that, because you know if they had footage of him even looking at her once, they were going to play that. They were going to give us that moment and add more drama and more fuel to this fire. But instead, they instantly shut it down. And Mia, like Ashley, had that stupid smile on her face she gets when she lies. You guys ever notice that? Ashley smiles when she lies. She can't help herself. Her lips turn up like she's enjoying it, like she's waiting on some reaction. She's having a ball. Mia does the same thing. So then we get to Karen and Giselle. This is an interesting scene because they talk about their friendship and all of their drama and issues in the past and how they're trying to be in a better place, but they're still keeping their good eye on one another. Like, I'm here, we're trying to be cordial, but I still don't trust this heifer. That's kind of how I feel Karen and Giselle are with one another. Like, we'll sit together and we'll film this scene and we'll give you guys a little bit of TV, but best friends we will not be. So Giselle tells Karen about the Chris situation. Now, at the same time, production does a really great moment of kind of like a he said, she said moment, because then we cut to Candiace and Chris having dinner, discussing, or lunch. I don't know what meal it was. They were having a lobster roll and the sweet potato waffle fries of Candiace's look really good. We get to the two of them having a meal together and talking about the incident. Candiace is stressed. She looks good in that confessional and that red hood. Gosh, again, her confessionals, I love them this season. To me, she's the best dressed cast member so far in the confessionals. She's just given me everything I need. If we had a Scala would probably be the best dressed, but right now it's Candiace. She's so stinking cute in her confessional looks, loving them. But she's stressed. Her IVF isn't going well. She's kind of blaming a lot of the stress and the drama on the Chris situation. And she's really feeling like a failure, not feeling good about herself. So then we get kind of a split screen here. He said, she said, although they didn't split the screen, they just kind of went back and forth of the two of them telling their accounts of that evening after the reunion. And Chris said that Giselle invited him to her room to talk. And Giselle's telling the complete opposite story to Karen. And the fact that Giselle is appalled that 7 days had passed and Candiace had not called her to apologize blows my mind. I think you need to understand that Candiace is not under your thumb anymore. She's her own independent, free-thinking person, and she now cannot stand you. You went after her husband, and she knows how you are. So A, she doesn't believe you. Now B, she doesn't like you, and she sees you exactly for who you are. So no, she's not going to call and apologize to you. You are now public enemy number one. Point blank. That simple. But Karen is listening to the story and was like, oh, well, if they made you feel uncomfortable, then they should have apologized for that. But as Giselle continued to tell the story and Karen continued to ask the right questions, I think Karen could see what was going on. So, Karen, did he say anything inappropriate to you? No. Did he do anything inappropriate to you? No. Did he leave when you asked him to leave? Giselle said yes, and Karen rolled her eyes, because in that moment she knew Giselle was full of it. Like we all know Giselle is full of it. And yeah, we go back over to Candiace and Chris dining, and in pops Robyn in the ugliest dress. It's just bad. Robyn is bad. The fashions are really bad this season for you. I hope you get a stylist. You're a lovely lady. I really hope you get a stylist. I have not minded your confessional looks. I like those, but every time we see you in a scene, I cringe for you. It's all a huge no for me. But Robyn walks in and Chris was kind of eyed her out like, oh, hey. She goes, don't just do that. You better stand up and give me a hug. And he stands up and gives her a hug. And Candiace is like, oh, better watch it. Better watch it. Don't want any other rumors to get stirred up. And Robyn sits down with them and he's going to have a drink and break bread with them and basically tells them, I'm on your side. Even when Gizelle brought this to me after it happened, I told her there was really nothing there. This was a non-issue. And in that moment, Robyn drew a line in the sand where her allegiance lies on this issue. We go back to Karen, and the producers are asking Karen, do you think there's a crack in the Green-Eyed Bandits friendship? And Karen's like, oh yes, because Gizelle blames Robyn for bringing this story up to Mia and bringing this up to the forefront, because Gizelle made it seem like, oh, I wasn't going to discuss this on camera. It was Robyn who brought this story up and kind of forced her to have to discuss it. So who's telling the truth? I think we're going to find out. I would love to see a Robyn Gizelle battle. I would love to see that because I think Robyn could hold her own. Gizelle, we know nothing about Gizelle. Her life is very secretive. Maybe Robyn has some tea on her. Maybe she's going to spill it if Gizelle says the wrong thing to her. I think we'll find out. But we will see what's going to happen. It looks like next episode we're going to get to see this family-friendly party with the kids. And we'll see if Robyn decides to extend a last-minute invite to Wendy. But until then, until next week, guys, like, comment, or subscribe down below. Please comment. I really want to discuss the episode with you guys. I love Housewives of Potomac. I've been watching it since day one, and since about second season, it's been my favorite franchise. I'd love to discuss that with you guys. But again, until next week, love and light.